I want to welcome you all back to our work area. And the other day, if you were here, you remember that we were building a television antenna that got a few channels out of this piece of tin right here, holiday cookie tin. And if you watched that video, you knew that we had the hinges on the bottom of the big one. But we are in the research and development process. I live about 20 or 30 miles, probably 30 miles from the television station in a one-story building. Now, if you live at the top of a high-rise in Los Angeles, New York, or Dallas, or something like that, Miami, and you've got 10 or 15 channels downtown and you're on the top of a apartment building, you may do better with an antenna like this than I'm doing. Simply because the television stations are all located within a few blocks of your house there, of your living quarters, and also because you live on the top of a building. So obviously this may work better for you than it does for me. Alright, so let me get the camera straightened out here to our work area. Okay, so there was a couple things that I wanted to take a look at today. The first one was this thing here. Now, if you remember, this is kind of thin. We saw that we got some success with this. But what happens if we improve this to something like this? So the sides are bigger. You see? So we're going to take the screwdriver right there. Can you see it good? I'm working the camera and doing the work here. And tap it with a hammer. It's not real thick, just like that. Turn it and put a hole in it. And then take it and pound down the inside so that you don't, to make it safer. Like that. I got to be careful today because actually, hold it right there. Let me get my gloves on. I'm going to wear gloves because I need to demonstrate safety procedures. Sorry about that delay, my friend. But I'm sorry about that delay, my friend. But if you're going to do cutting, you need to be wearing some kind of gloves so it doesn't slide off and hit your hand. If it does hit your hand, your chances of keeping your hand to your fingers are a lot better. You got to be really careful. That's why you got to use the safety equipment. We're going to take this thing off of here and move it to over here to the box. Safety is the most important thing. You're not going to find anything more important than your own safety. And I'm going to show you how we did this. We just cut this wire off. We can do it again. So we can demonstrate. If you didn't see the last video, you can better understand what our overall objective is here today. We're going to cut this thing off and create a new one with these shears here. Actually, you might need to do it with the needle nose pliers. There we go. I'm going to use my pocket knife And I'm going to go ahead and take this just against the metal part of the table right there. Can you see that? It's like that. Actually, a little bit more like this. Sure, I got the knife going the right way. I want to cut the housing, but I don't want to cut the wire. Do not. You want to cut the rubber housing and the gray insulation underneath it, but don't actually cut the copper wire. Be careful not to cut. See, there's the insulation. We want to cut the copper wire now, or the insulation. We want to cut the insulation, but we don't want to cut the copper wire. That's it, right there, just like that. Make sure you got your safety gloves on if you're working with a knife. Close it up when you're done. Put your knives up there, out of the way. All right. I meant to tell you before, you won't need those. You need a set of needle-nose pliers, a screwdriver with an X end or Phillips head, maybe a set of shears. Get by without those though. Box cutter or utility knife or a pocket knife, and a hammer. Should be all you're going to need. And a pair of gloves. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we got a 14 or 13 cent bolt, something like that, see it? And 2 9-cent nuts from the hardware store. And we're going to put one of those nuts on like this. We're going to form this into a kind of a little bit of a circular motion like this, so that we can get this hooked onto the bolt. See that? Clamp it in there like this, and then that's going to be the we're going to tighten this part of things up using the pliers and the screwdriver. That's probably tight enough. That slipped off the thing. Alright. Put this thing here through the hole. And we're going to fasten it by putting this, can you see it? Nut on the other side of this. Tighten it down, finger tight, and then we'll just turn it a couple times with a screwdriver. And same thing. See that right there inside there? We're going to take these pliers on the thing there, and then see this? We're going to tighten this down all tight so that we got a good solid connection. Yeah, that's pretty solid. Okay. Alright, so we got this antenna built. You're going to notice that we don't have any antenna on the back of the TV right now. Nothing but the electrical cord. See the back of the TV, nothing but the electrical cord. Move my fruits and vegetable tray out of the way. Okay. So, we're going to plug this into here. Actually, let's turn the TV on. This is a little 15-inch TV. See, we're getting nothing. No signals. Searching channel, finding nothing. So we're going to plug this in. Excuse me. To the back. And this is just an experiment. Some things work, some things don't work. And we have to find out what works and what doesn't work. Alright, so the TV's on. So now we got channel 5. The same channel we had the other day. It's going in and out. Let's change the, let's move it over a little bit. And hold it in place with the hammer there. There you go. So it's going in and out. So we're trying to get something, but we're not getting much. Now the weather here today ain't that great. Let's just sit it down just right on the table like that, or even like this. Just like that. Just let it sit down, just like that, and see what we come up with. We're not coming up with anything. Unless we set it up like this. We're still not coming up with much. Now we're getting something. But it doesn't seem to be as effective. Put it on the back there and see what happens up closer to the window. See what we got now.
Genesee County as well, and temperatures are below freezing for the time being in the 20s. That does mean some of that's rather easily early today. Now, thankfully, we don't have a whole lot of wind out there, so
if we get it closer to the window and behind the TV, we're finding out that we're getting something. We're going to move the TV back over here. We're going to let that thing just hang off the back of the table behind the TV. See what we're getting. We're not getting much at the moment. Now we're getting something.
To our community, the following are Mid-Michigan death notices.
See, we're going in and out. That's the closest channel to me. So it's not likely that it's going to get much better. But we're going to go into auto program and do it anyway, just to see what the results are. And while we're doing that, I'm going to set up our next idea. So just hang around for a minute, and we'll get on to the next idea that I got. This is regular tin foil. That's all it is. About enough to cover a cooking sheet. And I'm going to use it to build an antenna. We found so far 11 digital channels, according to the program guide. According to the program guide, the program guide, we've come up with 11 channels. So that thing may be working better than we thought. We're continuing to watch. Continuing to watch. So we've got 11 channels at 50%. That's not too bad. It's better than I hoped for. Auto program is still working. %. We're still at 11 channels. So I'm starting to feel better about some things here. A few things anyway. Here, Pop, don't bump the camera. Good boy. 96%. We got 11 channels.
Items they purchased.
Live and local with coverage.
We're still moving in and out a little bit.
Nominate Black Panther for everything.
And if you can't deal with that, then you are even more pathetic.
My cable bill, satellite bill, I've had both cable and satellite are both too high. So the idea is to try and eliminate them.
Without being shady, it's not really that hard.
So we got multiple channel 12s and multiple channel 5s and multiple channel 66.
They're not. I was.
Okay?
Michael Jordan played
And they're talking about March Madness, college basketball playoff tournaments, it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and, I only got these big nails, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and attach this to the wall. With the nail over by the window. We only got big nails, so I have to work.
While there have been successes in the one and done era, getting a top NBA draft pick hasn't always equaled success. Change could be on the horizon. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver met with NCAA officials regarding one last fall.
Now that's just on the wall, kind of sideways by the window. It's like that. And
jump right away.
seem to be doing all right.
I think that you should allow these guys, if they're ready, Marvin Bagley, J.R. Smith, who I coached, or some other guys that I coached, like Solano Samuels and Mike Kabongo.
Let's go ahead and auto program again. But you know what? That seems to be a lot clearer.
Everything is right there for you. It tilts your head to the side.
That might be the machine we're looking to use. I might be able to tack that right up to the inside of the window trim.
When I looked, is watch American Idol.
Right.
Either one was real.
Now, if that worked for you, that'd get you 12 channels.
Just before 2 a.m. this morning by Midland police officers. Now, we know that the police officers are not injured. They're okay as of right now. The two suspects, though, however, the one pronounced dead at the scene, the other has been taken in for questioning. And that's where he is right now. We don't know any other information on those two, but the two police officers are okay. They're not injured. The one who did fire his gun has been placed on administrative leave.
All right. Let's do auto program one more time, and then we'll go on to work on the next idea I've got. Now that antenna is by far the best I've had so far. I wonder if that antenna would be better if it was rounded. And while that's programming, we're going to test that theory. Same thing. Just kind of tap a hole through with the screwdriver and a hammer. You want to come back through. You don't want to cut yourself, so you want to go back through right here and just see that? I put up against the edge of the metal wrought iron table there. Tap that down so it's not sharp. I'm sure glad you could come and watch our program today. I'm not the best with the camera, but I'm doing better. So, and I want to help you out. So again, we're going to go ahead and reattach that wire and the screw and bolt and nut on the back there to this one here. But at 36%, we still got exactly 11 channels that we had last time. So we haven't lost any channels and we haven't picked any channels up. We're right where we were last time at 47% of auto program. At 60%, still 11 channels. And where I live, I don't have a television station within probably 20, 30 miles of the house, maybe 40 miles of the house. So I'm not right downtown, and I'm not in a big, tall apartment building. I live in a one-story apartment house. And our house is only about 12 or 15 foot tall. So, and I get a lot of traffic out front of the house. That interferes with signal too. I'd like to get channel 12 MeTV in Memorable Entertainment Television, but we'll see what happens here in a minute. And keep it in clear. So we didn't make any improvements. We've got 11 channels.
But must remove them nightly. Owners could be jailed, fined, and required to pay recovery costs if their structure falls in the ice.
Leaders of the Catholic Church are joining together to create a task force to help better serve their members. The Bishop of Lansing will announce the task force on race in Catholic schools.
Impression we hear. We're going to put her to the test. Go and rejoin.
So now we've gotten a steady signal on channel 5, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, and 5.4. It's not breaking up.
Maybe. Do you suspect foul play? Not really. There's no one here with an IQ over 40. So you're...
This is the one I'd really like to have. It's going in and out. It's fuzzy.
Yeah, me too.
We move it around a little bit. It gets better, gets worse. That's something we might not be able to prevent. .3, I think it's the Weather Channel.
What's up, y'all?
So I mean, it's one of those things, and you win some, lose some. Slight adjustment on the back of the antenna. We're staying clear. Let's go back to 12. No signal at all on 12 anymore.
Michigan, but really for the most part, they
All right. Well, anyway. So we saw the success of this antenna pretty good. So let's go ahead and unscrew this and let's work on something else.
things out, especially Lake Michigan, as we will have maybe some.
So that will get us at least a couple of channels, but I was hoping to get 12, the Weather Channel on channel 12 in, and Me TV, Memorable Entertainment Television. So it's some improvement, not exactly what I was hoping for though. I was hoping to maybe just work out a little bit more than that. So there's a box. See the hole on the bottom? We're going to put the thing on it. See the screw and the nut. Attach it to our tin here. Just like that. See how it's attached? Take our screwdriver. We want to have a tight connection. Tight connection makes all the difference in this. There we go. That's a pretty tight connection. See it there? So, flip the television around. Hook up the antenna. Now this one is attached to a circular tin instead of a round tin. And I'm going to put the cover on this tin right here. See this? So here's our tin. There's the back of our TV. And I'm putting the tin on, the lid on this tin, this cookie tin. See if that makes any difference here. And I'm just going to set that tin on the TV behind it for now. Move my tools out of the way here. Alright, so there's the weather channel.
Are you going to notice the temperature difference by Wednesday afternoon?
See, that's me TV.
What do you mean?
So we're getting the closest channel's about 20 or 30 miles away. We're getting that pretty good. The other one's probably 50 or 60 miles away. And
They think I'm a model. Me too. A foot model. And ankle, Gus. Dude, that's just ridiculous anyway. Everybody looking like this.
I'm just going to let this antenna hang on the back of the television for a minute. Hanging on the back of the television, it almost needs to hang above the TV. The old television box sets used to have a spot on the top where you could hang your thing. We don't have that luxury. On these new TVs. Flat screens. So, we're not making much improvement, if any. If we can find a way to get that thing to stay on the top, we might do better.
Be there no later than 1:15, and I'll have to approve whatever you're wearing. Now, obviously, we have no choice but to continue with...
Good.
Are you a Detroit Lions fan? Yeah. My dad is. My dad is a Detroit Lions fan, and he's like heartbroken every year. Yeah. It happens.
Well, thanks for being here. We call Kelsey right now from Chicago, Illinois.
We're doing a lot better with it on top of the TV.
Same people that were from Georgia are now from Chicago.
You guys get around? Okay, let's...
You know what? The
Tell me.
glasses are keeping my eyelids in.
It's good.
Yeah.
You look great.
I'm so puffy.
You're not.
It's either the sleep
It's all
or
your
the
head.
cheese.
Well, it could be the cheese.
No, you have no idea putting ice on my face backstage.
Uh-oh, Kelsey doesn't look like Kelsey's there. She's screening, Gelman. She's screening.
Would you pick these up for me? You may have to go to the university library.
If it stays like that, we're in pretty good shape.
That could be DD. You'll have to check.
And the Boxer Era by Chen Wu.
At the Fitzpatrick translation.
Where are you off to?
Jail? Oh, you girl.
Let's go ahead and auto program one more time. If it stays like that, we might be in pretty good shape. The next thing is, can you put a shelf on the wall behind the TV to put your antenna on? Or can you build something that sits on top of the TV, a piece of wood shelf or something, which probably isn't the safest idea. You'd want to find a shelf that goes behind the television or mount it to the wall above the television. We've got 15 channels right now at 17%. So we've improved by 4 channels, from 11 to 15 digital channels. 20%, again, 15 channels. We've improved 4 channels compared to what we had a minute ago. So having a lid on it and being round is making a difference. It's also a little bit bigger than this. This is kind of smaller. But even with the lid on this, we weren't getting that many channels. Near, kitty. Don't bump the camera. Alright. We got 18 digital channels right now. 18 channels. At 45% almost, 18 channels. Here, cat, go lay down. Away from the camera. Don't bump the camera. At 50% or just over 50%, we're at 18 channels. That's 7 more channels than we had a minute ago. %, 18 channels. And like I said, our closest television station I know of is about 30 miles from home. And it goes up to 60 or 70 miles from my home. Now, if you live in New York, you might get gotten, or Los Angeles, where the big TV networks are, and you're at the top of a Empire State Building apartment somewhere, you may have ended up getting some sort of 40 channels, 50 channels. It's hard to tell. %, we're staying at 18 channels. Digital channels.
A dangerous accident on the set of a Motley Crue movie. We'll tell you what happened to this crew member.
We're looking to be pretty clear on Channel 5.
For the latest news and weather. You can find it in the App Store.
But they've got more than one
Unlike being stuck with a bad haircut, you look amazing.
channel.
Make sure you're satisfied with the denture money back.
And this remote messes up all the time.
Schedule now at 1. That as an actor.
There it goes. I gotta mess with this remote, tap it against the table. I think the batteries might be going dead. So that's still having a little bit of problem.
All right, brought in high protein to help get us moving and help you feel more strength and energy in just 2 weeks. I'll take that.
Ensure high protein with 16 grams of protein and 4 grams.
Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 1-800-741-71.
And on the radar and seeing some of those preliminary reports so far from West Virginia and Kentucky, the storm has been overproducing, so we'll have to watch it very closely as we head into the afternoon. John, go ahead.
We're getting a pretty good weather channel, though.
With you in a couple of hours when we see that rain transition over and some snow. It's going to be a busy afternoon for much of the Tar Heel State, as the entire I-40 corridor is likely to see at least some kind of accumulating snow.
Yeah, making for maybe a...
See, we're getting it, but we're struggling to keep it in.
God and my country.
Christian Television Network, 49.1.
In 1995, Pet.
And 49.2.
God, you
Nope.
Twinkle. Great stuff.
We weren't getting this a minute ago, but it's got a clicking sound going.
Tools that you are
This is a good channel here. Fox. Fox TV.
Adrenaline rushes when you go out and perform.
People since 1990.
Online or email. Coaches acknowledge that Adidas' involvement in the most recent scandal is a problem for them. It's up to head coaches to maintain the integrity of college basketball.
I think at the university.
So that concludes our
32.
experiment for today.
Elon Musk predicts unmanned missions to Mars could begin as early as next year. Appearing at the
9:24 in the morning here right now. I thank you for coming, and hopefully that will help you out so you can have a better television setup at your home. Thanks for coming. There's going to be another video. I've got a couple more ideas on television. Thank you.